I just wanted to start by saying, thank you so much for coming today, everyone. I really appreciate that. There's a lovely atmosphere, isn't there, in the room tonight? I really appreciated that. And I've got friends, for example, old friends from home. Mark and Aaron grew up together. My mum, my brother, and his girlfriend, and all friends from here as well. It's really lovely. And I was thinking, I've just been ordained, and I'm not really, but in a sense, it's very difficult to describe what it really is and sort of what it really means. That's what I've been struck by. But you all seem to have responded very positively to it. So whatever it is, it must be. It feels like, and I think there's something in that as well. Because I was struck by this when I finished retreat. It was 4 months without communicating with the outside world, mostly. I spoke to my mum for the first time, 4 months, and she said, Dayanatha, that's such a lovely name, Lord of Kindness. It's so appropriate. It really suits you. And I was just really moved by that. She said she was very proud of me, and I was just sort of welled up a bit when he said that. And also not only you, but my grandma as well. And we come from a Jewish background, so my grandma sort of heavily involved in the Jewish community, but she still still responded very positively to me. Wrote me a nice card with my new name and wished me well, congratulated me. So I was just thinking, what is it about you guys all being very positive? My mum, my grandma, my dad as well. My brothers, what are we responding to? And I think for me, it's something about value. That's what drew me here. That's where I came to the Buddhist Centre to start off with. I was lost before I came. I didn't really have I didn't have that sort of sense of value, of meaning in my life, and that made me very anxious actually. Still quite anxious, but it definitely drew me onwards, the sense of the search for value. And after 4 months of a very harmonious retreat, we got this shock that Britain had wanted to pull out of the European Union, and we were all very depressed for a couple of hours, and on longer. But it really struck it. And it struck a chord with me that God, what the world needs most is value. It needs a sort of higher ideal almost. And we're in a world, aren't we, where God is dead, possibly, and yet there's no, and sort of materialism seems to be the answer. Now, I like comforts too, don't get me wrong, but definitely growing up, I was very fortunate to grow up in a loving family who provided for me. We always had money, we always had holidays, we always had cars, and had very good friends as well. So I had almost what you could call a perfect upbringing, but still, I always felt, even when I was younger, I didn't tell you guys, probably, but I always had the sense of that there was something missing. This wasn't, it's not from you guys. There had to be a deeper meaning to life. There had to be something more than just making money. And I saw even my parents; they weren't always particularly happy, and I could see that in my friends as well. And I had this deep sense that I needed more than this, needed more than just sort of material comfort, and also prestige as well. So growing up with brothers, where are my brothers? There, brothers. I always say. I had a natural sense of responsibility, I think, sort of being the oldest brother, and also what it could be like to really live with brothers and look out for each other, and a sense of, again, this responsibility, so wanting to help the world, change the world. And that ended up me, ended up becoming a doctor in the end because of that, because I wanted to make a difference. But that wasn't enough for me. So you can, being a doctor is very good, obviously, but it isn't enough. It doesn't solve the core problem of suffering, which is craving, which is attachment to this delusion that we have a fixed and separate self. It doesn't solve that, and that is really the cause of the suffering. And you see that with patients a lot, indeed struggling with pain. That really painkillers are all right, but we need to, if we really want to solve suffering in the world, we need to get down to in touch with reality, more into reality. I haven't used my talk. Yes. So that's what led me to become ordained. Basically, I responded to value, to meaning, especially in terms of in Buddhism we have meditation. So I noticed that when I meditated, my mind became stiller, calmer, more pliable. And especially on the retreat, we had 4 months of meditation. Sometimes like 6 or 8 hours a day of meditation, and that's sort of concentrating on our breathing or getting in touch with a sense of positivity. Also, we were looking at sort of the nature of reality. What is me? What am I made of? What is this thing called me? We were sort of exploring that, which is really and at times sort of insightful. So that's what we were doing on the retreat, and that's what I responded to with Buddhism. That's what made me want to become ordained. Yeah. Then also there's a sense of ethics as well. So not just, as Viranaga saying, it's not just about me. In fact, it's transcending me. It's selfless service. It's how can we help the world? How can we give back to the world? And for me, this is it. Really, this is how I can do it. By just helping people through meditation, or seeing the Dharma, seeing the truth of what the Buddha realised himself. That gives me meaning in life, and also and this sort of direction. So I think being an order member for me is part of that sort of sharing Buddhism with people. As well as my own practice. So finally, yes. I really like that sense of just to end with, like, that on retreat, on this 4-month retreat, we really got a glimpse of how the world could be. Obviously, as I said, we voted to be out of the EU, and I think that's partly because there's this sort of culture of self-interest, isn't there, in the world, or sort of separateness. We want to be separate from the world, and that'll make us better. But on retreat, it was the complete opposite. We were living, I think, more in touch with reality, where we weren't separate. We're not. Yes, we have our own selves, and we've got our own new names, and that's fine. I can't wiggle his toe, but only he can do that. But at the same time, there was a deep sense of connection and love. It's like I could swap into his body, he could swap into mine, and it'd sort of be the same. And I don't like it. The point is, there was a real sense of connection and harmony that we made, because we were all working on ethics. We were all practicing on this, trying to be more selfless. And when we do that, surprise, surprise, it happens. We made it happen. It was very enjoyable, just lovely to be around each other and new friends as well. Mai Chidara, where's Mai Chidara? He's here as well. He was on the retreat. Did you agree with me? You got a sense of harmony, friendship.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah. So if we can, the point is, how am I doing for time? Sorry, another minute. If we can sort of transplant into the world, or maybe even a little bit, make the world a bit more like that, a bit more harmonious, a bit more looking at our minds. Because the Prime Minister doesn't meditate, that's worrying to me. If we can, sort of change the world by teaching people meditation and the Dharma, then I think we can make a real difference and the world will be a better place. So, yes. So as I go back to my job on the wards, in the psychiatric ward on Wednesday, I just want to say I've been really grateful for, everything that all my teachers, Maisha Bandhu, Yana Bhacha, Parama Bandhu, who's my main teacher, but he's not here tonight, unfortunately. And all the other teachers, all the other teachers that have taught me, I'm really grateful for that because I think you've saved my life. I'm really, really grateful for that. So thank you very much.